Welcome to the Meetings Podcast, the meeting organizer's podcast source for what's new in the meetings and events industry. Meetings Podcast is a conversation with a variety of voices that looks at events, meetings, and media. Meetings Podcast is sponsored by IMEX America, America's worldwide exhibition for incentive travel, meetings, and events.
Hello, podcast listeners. Today's show is brought to you by, of course, IMEX America, but we also have a new technology sponsor. Full disclosure, I'm an investor and founder in AV for Planners, but AV for Planners is designed to help meeting organizers vet and negotiate AV. We did a slight pivot this year. Our clients love our service, but did not want to pay for it. So they realized that they were saving money and time, but most didn't want to upset the apple cart on how they do things. So we shifted gears and went to the third-party planning companies who now provide the service to ensure their clients are getting the correct AV and labor. They then get a commission from the AV companies for bringing in the business, which it kind of sounds familiar to some of you because this is what they do for room blocks now with hotels. So this is how it works. On behalf of the client, AV for Planners gets the in-house AV and 2 outside AV bids, or 3 outside AV bids. They get 3 bids basically, and put them side by side and give the client a 1-page summary with a rating of all the equipment and labor for their proposal. So they can put that in their proposal to their end client. And behind that 1-page summary is all the reasons why they made these decisions, so the third party or independent planner can provide the best experience possible for their clients and attendees at the correct price, and then of course they're getting all the correct equipment for their event, not just what they have in the warehouse, it's what they need. If you are interested in learning more, head over to avforplanners.com/AV Power Pack, and that's where you can sign up for a consultation, or you can get free tips and tricks for site surveys and what to look out for when you're on site, or before and during. So we also included a nice clause that you could add to your hotel contract if you want more control over what you're being charged for audiovisual, which is pretty handy. So let's get into the show, and thank you for listening. Welcome back to the Meetings Podcast. This is Mike McAllen from Grass Shack Events and Media and AV for Planners. And on today's show, we have Liz King. Hi, Liz.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for putting up with all my technical difficulties this morning.
We all have them, so no problem.
Yes, and it's kind of later in the day for you because you're back east. And
Yes, you're the early riser.
I am. And I've been up for about 2 hours just racing around, which is crazy. And so let's get into you, Liz. I'm going to read a bio that I pulled off your website. And you can correct me if things have changed, if you have a doctorate degree now or something that you haven't known about. So Liz King from LizKingEvents.com started her first company in 2010 in the midst of the down economy. By sharing content on Twitter, Facebook, and her blog, she gained expertise in the event planning industry, and she's become a leader and influencer. She was named the top 25 most influential meeting planners in 2013, 40 under 40 up-and-coming event planners in 2011, the Event Prof's most thought-provoking blog, and People's Choice Award. This created a platform for her to build her business and strong brand even further, working with clients on events like Earn 100K Summit and is it SHE Summit Week or She Week?
She Summit Week.
She Summit Week. She helps entrepreneurs integrate technology into their events to better engage their audience, their attendees and audience, I guess, too. In addition to her client work, she also hosts her own events. She is the founder of Texi Talk and Planner Tech. She is dedicated to educating fellow event professionals on how technology can enhance their events.
That's me.
Excellent work, Liz.
Thank you.
I noticed as I ran up the stairs with my stuff I printed, I was totally out of breath when I started reading. But that's great. So Liz, welcome. And let's start off. Do you have a favorite quote?
I think one of my favorite quotes is, if you don't build your dreams, somebody else will hire you to build theirs. It's one of those reminders, especially as we're at the end of the year looking towards planning for 2016. And it's a hard time of year. I'm having a hard time getting motivated this time of year, but in general, just I think when you own your own business, it can be very confusing and there's a lot of decisions to make. And so it's a good reminder that no matter how hard it gets or how uncertain the road ahead is, it's still better than, for me at least, it's still better than working to build somebody else's dream. I know that's not for everyone, but.
Yeah, it's interesting. Same way. I had that whole itch the whole time I had my job before I started my own company years ago. And that's a great quote. Thank you so much for sharing that. So let's jump into your path. How did you get into event planning to start? And why don't you take us through your journey to where you are now?
So I studied psychology in college and I wanted to be a counselor. I wasn't exactly sure what kind of counseling, but I graduated college and then I started working in a counseling center, and I only worked there for a few months before I realized I did not want to do that for the rest of my life. I would answer the phone. There would be a suicidal person on the other end of the line, and I could not just cut that off when the ambulance got there. My mind was always worrying about where that person was and what happened. And I just realized for my own stress levels, I wasn't the kind of person who could handle that. So I left that position and I just got an administrative position at Columbia University through a friend, because I really didn't know what I wanted to do then, because I just studied to be a counselor and now I didn't want to do that. I happened to be the administrator on the event planning team at Columbia in their career center. And so it was just one of those things. I hear this from a million planners, that all of a sudden one day I looked over and I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that for a job. I didn't know you could actually be an event planner. But when I looked back over the course of my life, I always was the crazy one who was planning talent shows and galas and dinners for homeless people and dinners for friends. So that was kind of a shifting point for me where I realized maybe I do want to do this. And I got promoted 3 times within my first year at Columbia into a position that just did the events. So that's kind of how I got started. And I did career fairs, networking events, anything career related for students. And after about 2 years of doing that, I kind of started getting really bored, and I created a Twitter account just to kind of distract my mind during the 8 hours a day that I was there. And that eventually turned into Liz King Events, the business. I started getting client inquiries through Twitter, and I would tell people, it's just a Twitter handle. It's not a business. And so I'd refer them to someone else I had met. And eventually there was a client and I wanted to take it, and I thought, we're going to do this. So I set up the business with the help of a mentor. Liz King Events was really never the company name that I wanted, but that was my Twitter handle. So here we are.
It's perfect.
It worked out in the end. I did want to start a business at some point, but I definitely thought, you need 10 years of experience before you're ready to strike out on your own. I didn't have any of that.
That's great. You had the drive, though. That's what you needed.
Yes. And so I did that for 2.5 years on the side while I still worked full-time at Columbia. And then finally, January of 2013, I left Columbia full-time and started doing this full-time. So
what's been the biggest challenge that you've encountered with this path? I mean, what was the hardest thing, and how'd you overcome it?
I think the hardest thing when I was doing Liz King Events part-time, and is still the hardest thing today, is just believing that this is the right path. You have to have a lot of belief in not only what you want to do, but in yourself, that you are the right person to do it. And, I've always been one of those people that you have to get a certain degree and then suddenly you're qualified. And I never felt that I was at that point yet, or, so I think just reminding myself and surrounding myself with people who remind me that this is the right path. And, like I said, things can get very hazy. I don't feel like we have a great 10-year plan and I can tell you exactly what's going to happen 10 years and one day from now. Yeah. So it takes a lot of faith, and I think that's really hard. It was hard to decide, I guess I could do this full time. And now I'm sitting here 3 years later, how are we still doing this full time? We have a team now. So it works out, but it's hard. It is.
Yeah, I know. I have the same thing now, and it's been 13, 14 years. And I still wake up with that same feeling like, oh, what's going on?
Good to
what am I
know.
doing? I feel kind of like a fraud myself. Like I shouldn't really be like I'm a trained fireman and I have a degree in sociology and I do this stuff. I don't. It's funny.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, who allows me to? I'm not supposed to be allowed to just work from home and do what I love.
Yeah, when you get the check, that's always the strange thing. Like, holy crap, what happened?
Someone pays me to do that. Yeah, exactly.
That's great. All right, so tell me the moment when you you knew you made the right decision to do this. Like, was there an aha moment that you're like, oh yes?
So I think those first 2.5 years of the business, I just was doing anything for free that came along. I was trying to get the experience and, just learning as much as I possibly could. So I was with Ed, who I still work very closely with. He's on my team. And we went out to dinner once and he said, I'm not being a good friend to you unless I tell you, you have to do this full time. You can do this. And then I went and I told my family, like, he's so crazy. He thinks I should do this full time. And they all said, well, yeah, you should. And something clicked and I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll try it. So I quit my job in January of 2013. And when I left, I had no clients for 2013 yet. I just thought, I guess I'll see what happens. And so my last day at Columbia was a Friday, and my first day officially as Liz King Events was a Monday. I get a call from a client that had turned me down 4 months prior because they found a different company to work with. And that company had done them wrong, and they were coming back and they wanted us to do the event. And that was kind of it was day one. And I thought, okay, we're going to do this. It's going to somehow, ever since then, the clients keep coming just at the right time, never early, never where I feel like this is amazing. I have so much lined up, but there's always enough. And, I think that the clients keep coming back, which is what's really important to me, that obviously we're not just flying by the seat of our pants and getting lucky. Our clients enjoy working with us, which is always nice.
You're doing something right.
Exactly.
So that was your aha moment that first day.
Yeah.
Most people don't have their first day be their aha
I
moment.
know. We got very lucky. Well, and I had been building this thing for so long.
Yeah.
And so it was really the test of, will anyone actually want to pay for this? And will all of that building pay off? So it wasn't really my first day, but it was first full-time day.
Yeah, that's a great story. It's very cool. So so now people may be listening and we're chatting away like we're known each other forever, which we've known each other a while, but tell us what you do exactly and maybe something current, if you want to promote something's coming up that you want to talk about. I know you have a lot of stuff to talk about. So kind of tell us what you do exactly. So if someone wanted to hire Liz King or be around Liz King, how would they do that?
So there are two basic buckets of our work. One is our clients. We work with a lot of startups and smaller companies, and we like to work with them over a long period of time to use events to help them grow their company. So we do a lot of conferences, product launches, brand events, really anything that will help any kind of company grow. So we've worked with female entrepreneurs. We've worked with SeatGeek, which is a ticketing company. We've worked with an electronic cigarette company. And we can start with like 10-person feedback forums where they're just getting information on their product, getting feedback from their target audience. Then we grow that into doing exhibits for them and having their own events. So we really like to grow with clients over time. And then we also do events for the event planner audience. So I just feel like I was using all this technology in our client events because I just love it. And then we would talk to other planners and realize they have no idea that they could use X product or a particular type of technology. So we started these educational events, and then eventually that transitioned into TexieTalk.com, which is a blog that we just produce content year round on how planners can use technology. And then we have a one-day conference, and then we also do bi-monthly meetups for planners here in New York City. So those are the two big buckets. One is through our clients, and then our educational platform.
And also the conferences you do also, correct?
Yeah. So a lot of our clients do conferences, and so we plan those, and then we also host our annual conference for Texie Talk.
Texie Talk. And then what about, there's another one, Planner Tech. Don't you have another one too?
So Planner Tech started as an evening event to educate planners on technology, and it's evolved into Texie Talk Live, which is our annual conference. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So take us through a typical day for Liz King. Do you have any kind of morning rituals or any kind of cool things that you do in the morning? Do you do a headstand or something every day that helps you with your sales process? Or
I wish I had that. Maybe I should start implementing that.
Well, we're starting a new thing. You and I had a headstand in the morning.
I'll take it.
So take us through a typical day of Liz King. What's it like?
Okay, so I think ideally my day starts with just kind of getting through priority emails, and I spend so much time in front of the computer, so much time. So whether it's responding to new clients, writing proposals, reaching out to companies for the events that we host, I spend, I would say, 70% of my day in front of the computer. I try to get out and meet people. I live outside of New York City, but I get into the city a few times a week. So try to pack those days with meetings with vendors or other planners or site visits for our clients or whatever that might look like. But I would say I spend a lot of my time in front of the computer, and then I am out of town regularly for speaking engagements or client work. Of course, if our client has an event, we're on site. So that looks like running up and down hidden staircases 1,000 times a day and being on the walkie-talkie.
Right. So do you have any special foods in the morning? Do you eat the same thing every day?
I don't.
Do you eat oatmeal or frosted mini wheats or something like that?
I just mix it up. Sometimes I have a little egg sandwich. Sometimes some oatmeal.
Good. And then do you have any social media sites in the morning that you always go look at?
Facebook and Twitter. And through Facebook, I think there are sites like Mashable and a lot of the event sites, Event Manager Blog, your podcast, things like that come up in my social feeds. So Facebook and Twitter is really where everything is filtered through. And then I end up looking at a million things. I would say I probably lay in bed for 20 minutes before I get out of bed, just looking at articles and catching up with social things. And I'm definitely one of those addicted to my phone kind of people.
And when you're on your computer, how many tabs do you normally have open?
Oh, 15 plus. I've definitely had my computer shut down on me several times because there's too many tabs. And I've been blocked from Gmail more times than I can count because you can't send more than 500 emails within a certain time period.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Crazy. That's really cool.
It's really bad.
Really bad and really cool at the same time. Yeah. That's fantastic. All right. So what else? I wrote something quick down. I'm jotting things down. So your speaking engagements, what do you speak on?
Mostly event technology and innovative ideas on ways that you can change up your event to better engage your attendees. So I mostly speak to event planner audiences or audiences of people like administrative assistants who do a lot of event planning, even though that's not their title. And I help with a lot of that one-on-101 type stuff, like just how to plan an event, how to integrate technology. And then I actually teach for NYU as well. So I do a few courses for them, one on technology. I oversee a diploma program for them that's more of like an introduction to event planning. So there's one that's just an overview of the industry. Then there's a second course that's about the practical 101s of event planning. And then there's a technology course. So
isn't that funny? So, and you didn't go to school for event planning?
No. Again, I'm like, who hires me to do these things?
Amazing. You tell them that when they come to class, you don't have to do this.
Yeah. This is totally elective. Just get out there and hustle. You'll be fine.
That's great. All right. So what'd you want to be as a kid?
Well, I wanted to be a singer. My dad was an opera singer for a while. And my first major in college was vocal performance. I'm not going to rip one out right now, but, I wanted to be a singer. And then I went to college and I realized there are a lot of really good singers, and I don't think I'm ready to handle all that. So
time, though. There's still time.
There's still time. You're right. Maybe I'll join, Celine Dion's comeback tour or something.
My sister was a singer, and I've never sang anything in my life. Maybe karaoke when I had a few too many drinks, but my sister was a total singer and was on Broadway and everything.
See?
Yeah, nominated for a Tony Award even.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. She's
That's
crazy.
Amazing.
Completely the opposite of me, too. She's really smart. Like, she could have gone to Stanford for college. She's really short, and she's really beautiful and talented.
Now you're being mean to yourself.
But I'm tall, and I can
You are very tall.
I can get things down from all places, and she can't do that. She's always asking me for help, It's
a good compliment. If she's going to get the Tony Awards, at least you can reach things from high for her.
Yeah. And she invited me to go, but I didn't go with her at that time because I was an idiot, because I was young and in college and being a boob. But anyway, she's fantastic. And it's not about my sister. It's about you, Liz.
That's amazing.
So what book do you gift others?
Ooh, I have a bunch of them. Anything from Seth Godin. I love his books. I've been reading more practically a lot of books about sales because I'm very bad at sales and content marketing. And so I've been giving those books away. I give away any book I read. I don't believe in buying a book and then just putting it on a shelf. I hate that. See empty bookshelves behind me?
Yeah.
So anything I read. So really anything that is interesting to me, I then pass it on to whoever might find it helpful.
Very
I
cool.
read a lot of that type of books, content marketing, social media, entrepreneurship, businessy stuff.
Yeah, you're really good at content marketing, though. I mean,
I feel like I'm not that great at it, but
you're all
thank you.
You won the most thought-provoking blog in People's Choice Award, and that was for your blogging, I'm thinking.
Well, I feel like I enjoy writing about our industry, and so hopefully the people who read it find it helpful, but I don't feel like I'm great at pushing it out to large audiences. And that there's some times where I'm like, we put a lot of work into our blog and we don't have nearly the views of some places that it's all just repurposed content and that's part of the game, I guess. But
yeah,
to get it out there to a wider audience.
Yeah, it's kind of shifted. It's funny, so there's so much now that you can't. So hard to cut through all the clutter. I had Will Curran on the podcast recently. You know him, don't you, Will?
Yeah, I'm going to do a blab with him on tomorrow.
Nice. Yes. And I did the first blab I did was with him for this podcast. And he's
awesome.
Cool. I got to do this. So he was like, I'm going to do this too. I was like, go for it. That's
awesome.
Totally cool. I was supposed to be on it last week, but I couldn't get that client meeting. So I had to back out, which sucks. But anyway, he is really good at, I think I would go to their site and I telling him, I wish my site looked like that because, I don't have any, my Grass Shack site is I haven't done anything to it. All I do is this podcast basically, but he's amazing with the downloads, but he uses the whole HubSpot system.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But I feel like you kind of have to pay for one of those services to really cut through all the noise. But, I won those blog awards in 2010 when there were only 10 blogs in the industry. So it sounds like a great bragging right now, but you and I both know the landscape was really different back then.
Yeah, it really is. And also, though, I think with something like that for you or me, that HubSpot is probably a good thing to invest in. Just to have people find you. I mean, if you're already doing the content, you might as well be getting it out there the correct way. Anywho, all right. So, you ever had a nickname?
Liz was the nickname that my parents never wanted. They wanted me to be Elizabeth, and they swore I would never be Liz or Beth. And then I went to first grade, and I was Liz for the rest of my life. And then you just have Lizzie and Lizard, and nothing fun. Nothing fun. I had some weird nickname when I was in Jigga. That I'm sure you didn't expect that.
No,
I don't know where it came from, but that was in college.
Huh. I had one when I was on a basketball team in high school, and all the seniors were all these really ultra smart guys. They all went on to Stanford and UC Santa Cruz, and then UC San Diego, all these really good colleges. And I was one of two juniors, and they were all really smart, and they all been playing together their whole lives, and with us too, but they were older than us, and they called me pernicious.
Oh,
They called me P, pernicious, and it was because I was 6'5", like 103 pounds. So, pernicious means to do evil unto others. It was like, I mean, who comes up with that kind of stuff?
That's one that goes in the books. You should definitely write that down somewhere.
Pernicious. So they call me P. And in fact, I saw one of them recently. Here, I'm 50 years old now. He's all, "Hey, P, how's it going?" I was like, let it go, man. But they were good. And we won the league, too. We were really good, really smart and good. Anyway, that's me. I should be talking about you. So what's your favorite music artist or your Pandora or Spotify channel?
Ooh.
I
am one of those people who goes through the same song over and over. I just find one song I like and I put it on repeat for weeks. Then I can't ever hear it again. So I only have 3. Tyrone Wells, Ingrid Michaelson, and Adele are my 3 Pandora channels, and they're like the only artists I listen to pretty much.
So Tyrone Wells, Adele, and who?
Ingrid Michaelson. She says that her songs are all like very negative, sad songs, but she puts them to really happy beats. So then you don't really realize how sad the song is.
How funny.
But yeah.
And do you use Pandora or Spotify or both?
Pandora, or now I've been using iTunes Radio.
Oh, how do you like that?
It's okay. I mean, I just don't like the idea of paying for radio type, or just, I don't listen to that much different kinds of music, so I'm pretty good. If I get 2 albums, I'm good for a while. So for me, it's maybe not the best investment, but for Ed, who listens to everything under the sun, it's worth the money, I would say.
And do you guys work together?
Yeah.
I mean, in the same room?
A couple days a week we do.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? I mean, do you guys, do you work in an office, or do you work out of your house? Or?
Mostly work from home. And then we have a Regis Business Center membership, which is the best membership ever. $25 a month, which I think they now raised it to like $49. And you can use any of their business centers throughout the world. So we can kind of hop around through the city depending on where we have client meetings that day or whatever we have planned after work. And it's just very co-working type, big open tables, and we just work with our laptops and earphones in. But it's better than Starbucks, more reliable Wi-Fi, and definitely more quiet. But
what's it called?
Regis Business Center. They have like private offices, but you can get this. I think it's called Business Lounge membership, and you can go to any of their locations.
That's very cool, because I know as I go to coffee shops around here that I go to, and I don't. It can get very, being an entrepreneur can get kind of lonely sometimes. I mean, you're on talking to people on the phone and stuff, but it just somehow helps to be around other people. Yes,
especially to just focus and get things done. I feel like when you're around a lot of other people who are all quietly working, you're like, oh, I think I'm supposed to work right now.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Like I have a weird place down here in Oakland. It's like a total and kind of a crappy neighborhood almost, but they just have this coffee shop, and they just have these tables and random chairs all over the place. And it reminded me kind of that place we were in Chicago when we went to the event camp that time.
Yes.
All the different chairs and everything. But this is crappy looking chairs. They're not bright and stuff, but they're all like secondhand car chairs. But there's like 70 people in there, and they're all with their headphones working.
It's good. You need that like little kick. When I'm home, I'm just watching like Wendy Williams in the background while I'm trying to bang out emails, and I'm a little distracted by the hot topics of the day.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not working anymore.
Right. I know. And I was staying home for a long time because I had my dogs, but they both died recently. So now I've been like, I need to get, and I stay home for them because I missed them. Like they were someone here basically.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I always like, hey, I'm going to get out of here, go somewhere else. Okay. So what's the best advice you ever received?
Oh, I've gotten some very good advice. I have a really amazing mentor. So I'm really blessed.
Can you say their name, or is it?
Oh yeah. Her name is France Laflamme, and she has done some really huge international events. I was assigned to her through score.org, which just gives you like free business mentoring. And I've been working with her since before I even officially had a company. And she's done some men's World Cups and women's World Cups. And I remember when I had my first potential client, she just gave me her proposals, took out all the names and numbers, and helped me make it my own. And first contracts, I mean, I wouldn't have known what to do without her.
Awesome.
So she's been great. I think the best advice that I've ever received is about being open to all the different things that your business can look like. I hate public speaking. I even hate things like this in terms of like just being on camera. So when I first got the request to speak at an event, I immediately turned it down. I just had no interest. And my mentor was telling me, you really have to just try new things and see what angles it opens up for your business. And I said, yeah, but I'm an event planning business. I don't want to be a speaker. But that's just one example of a million where, you know, now that's a revenue stream for me. And it's become something that I enjoy doing because I get to meet all kinds of new people and I get to learn new things. And it's not how I would have originally envisioned my business, but I don't know if the business would have been something I enjoy as much if I wasn't open to it. So between, you know, event planning and speaking, and I never had the vision, the amazing vision to launch like TuxieTalk.com. It just kind of evolved over time, and we were open to trying something new, and we thought we were seeing a need. And now we have Tuxie Talk and all that comes with that, and the conference and everything. So I think it's important to envision your business and to plan, but to be open to all the different things that could happen, because I didn't predict any of this.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And the speaking thing, I have the same thing. I hate speaking. It basically terrifies me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, like terrifies me. And then actually recently I started doing it a little bit, and I just kind of dealing with the terrifying part. Once I'm up there, I'm fine.
Yeah, my coworkers from Columbia still laugh at me because they would ask me to present in the staff meeting, and there were only like 20 of us, and I would get so terrified and I couldn't even talk in the staff meeting. And now they're like, you're traveling to Amsterdam to speak at a big conference. I don't know. I still get nervous. Sure. But you just learn to work with it and take all the good that comes with it. But yeah.
That's totally awesome, and I need to do more of it too. And that's
You're
great.
Great at it.
Oh,
you are.
Okay, so thank you. So what's something that's working for you right now? A new app, a vitamin and exercise program, a time saver, some sort of a hack? Do you have something that you just started using that you really love? And I know you have a 1,000 probably things because I get your newsletter and I see all the posts. Like you say you're not doing good content marketing, but I see it constantly. But all the tech stuff. So what's talk? Go ahead and tell me.
I've been using for a while Yesterbox, which is not really an app. It's the way that Tony Hsieh manages his email from Zappos. And basically you just put everything that came in yesterday into its own folder. And then before you respond to anything that came in today, you respond to everything that came in yesterday. So it's just a way of managing your email. I am a Inbox Zero wannabe. I used to always be at Inbox Zero. Now I might have 50 in there because it's just hard to keep up. But just the idea of managing all the things that are outstanding before moving to just anything that pops up into the top of your inbox, which is always something. Someone always wants something. And I was just thinking, if Tony Hsieh from Zappos can make people wait 24 hours, then it's okay. We will get back to those emails. And just, I think, prioritizing. We use Todoist for our task management. And I have to remember to use it, but when I do, it's a very helpful tool, and it helps keep our team on the same page about what needs to be done and where every project is. I really like that you can attach files and have conversations within a task, so you're not always switching back to email. I mean, email is just out of control. I don't think anyone really is on top of it. So as much as we can move it out of email and into more conversational things, I tried Slack, but I don't know, it didn't work for me. So I didn't use it for very long. But Slash, actually, now that I said that, is a really cool new app. It's actually a keyboard, and it allows you to, like, as you're typing, you can do /Yelp, and it'll pull up the Yelp link Or you can do it with all these different things. You can do it with gifts. You can do it with Yelp. You can do Google searches. So when you're texting, you don't have to go out of the texting app into a different platform, find a link, click, and paste it back in.
Wow.
And that was actually by one of the founders of Boomset, which is an event tech company. But Slash is doing really well.
Wow, that's cool. It's a keyboard.
It's a keyboard. So you just install it on your phone. And then when you're typing, it's just the capabilities of it are that you can bring up all these different links and direct images and different things that you can link to so that you're not always switching out of apps.
That is really cool.
It is. It's a really cool product.
I'm going to have to get that. What's your favorite industry event? And what about it do you like so much?
I really like IMEX America. It's like my favorite event. Because there are so many people from the industry there. I feel like I could not even touch the show floor and still meet so many people. And so I really like that event. Of course, I like Techsy Talk Live. I mean, that's my event. So,
Of course, yes.
But that's kind of like our playground. We just try every random thing that we think might be cool for a conference, and probably our clients wouldn't buy into it quite yet because no one's really done it. So, of course, I like that event. But I love going to IMEX. That's one that every year I try to put right on my calendar because so many people are there.
Yeah, I like it too because of that. We were even thinking we have a booth every year, and we were thinking next year not even having a booth.
Yeah.
Because we're married to the booth and I can't get out,
Exactly.
There's
so many people there.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the coolest new trend you've seen or excited about?
Oh, I think for myself, and you're going to be like, that's so boring. Why are you excited about that? But I think that one of the huge trends coming in our industry is around data and collecting data and getting to know our audiences and understanding how to analyze data and then use that data to make decisions. And it sounds like a really dorky thing to be excited about numbers, but for us who were trying to grow a brand and reach an audience, I am very excited to see what kind of tools pop up that help us manage this, because I think for myself and for many people, it's just overwhelming. Yes, I have a registration list from the 10 events that we did this year, but then how do I pull those together and figure out who attended 7 of our events and has a great social media following and is engaged on our blog? I don't know who those people are. So then when we're trying to market, that becomes really challenging. So I really wish for myself that we had better data management tools, and I do think that's coming. I think we're going to see a lot of talk about data in 2016.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It really makes you can make such better events by just looking at what's happening. And it's amazing. I was talking to John Frederico, I know you know, Event Hero, and he was talking about what their program does with people coming and going, and data right there you can look at.
Exactly.
Happening. I think that's the cool stuff too. And then finding out what the audience wants. You're so right. I think for me, the new trend is going to be hoverboards. I think everyone's going to ride those at events because everyone's feet get sore. Like, why don't you hand out hoverboards?
But Amazon's not selling them anymore because they keep lighting on fire. They just yesterday.
They light on fire? That's totally cool.
It's not a good fire. It's like a burn down your house fire. I don't know. There's something with the lithium batteries, and it was enough that Amazon removed them from all of their online store yesterday. So you might have to wait till like 2018 for your hoverboard dream.
All right. Well, then next year or the year after will be the trend.
There you go.
I'm predicting that events everyone will ride hoverboards.
But in the meantime, we have those little like robots that you can Skype into, so you don't have to actually walk the floor at all.
Right. Oh, like cookies.
Yeah, like the little, the iPad screen.
They're a Koopy that go around.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, last question. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you could choose any profession and had the option to start somewhere, anywhere from scratch, what would you do?
Ooh. I think that I would still want to be somehow in the events industry, but I think I would want a stronger marketing background. We already talked about um, sales and pushing out what you work on. I think that I'm really good at developing things that I love, and I think that I can usually see where there's a need in an industry or in a market and kind of like develop something that really meets that need. But I'm just really bad at actually getting it out to lots of people and selling. I can't tell you how many times people say, well, how much do you charge for that? And I say, nothing, it's free. And they're like, why? But for me, I guess just because they're passion projects, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not good at like selling myself or selling things, although some people say that I am. I think that anytime I sell something, it's kind of accidental. It's just, oh, I didn't realize I could sell that. Okay. So I'd love to have a better marketing background and to really know how to reach an audience. And we're so grateful for the people who read the blog and come to our events. But I couldn't tell you that there's some great master plan behind it all. And we are, analyzing our audience and reaching our influencers. It's stuff I understand and I want to do more of, but it's not like top 5 things that we do.
Right. All right, Liz. Well, thank you so much. How can people find you on the interwebs if they want to?
As long as you remember Liz King Events, you should be able to find us anywhere. Twitter is probably the easiest way. But we have Facebook, Liz at lizkingevents.com, email. So any platform, Liz King Events and Texi Talk, we should be pretty much everywhere.
Cool. And I think before we go, we should answer some of these questions because people have been putting questions in. We're on live right now, as we said. Kiki, Kiki.
Hey, Kiki.
Said, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned running your business this year?
I think this year, the biggest lesson that I learned is that you can have great events, you can have great content, but I think that I think this year has been a big lesson for me in analysis paralysis, where I kind of like move too slowly because I'm overthinking whether it adds enough value or it's unique enough. Like, I don't want to ever launch something that's exactly like what someone else is doing in the industry already. And I think I'm too worried about like, oh, that person's feelings might be hurt if they think that I'm trying to do what they're doing. So I want to make it super different. And I think that I've missed opportunities in the past few years. I guess we all do, just by spending too much time trying to make it perfect before I launch it. Yeah. And so I'm learning to just kind of like, okay, I think this is a good idea. We're just going to go with it and see and improve over time and make it better. I mean, I want it to be perfect, but it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect out of the gate. So I'm just trying to balance thinking intelligently about things and putting some planning, but not being, stuck in that analysis paralysis area.
Very cool. And then it is interesting with that because I don't think people care. I think they like I always like when I just told you about like Will was going to do a podcast. I was like, that's great. It's cool. More stuff that I can listen to. You can with people. I don't have to.
I mean, that's the industry. That's how it should be, right? Yeah. Everyone should be supportive of each other. It's just, I think that's how it should be. And we should operate as if that's how it is and not worry about,
Yeah, I think we had a little issue with that, with the whole event camp thing. It was like people started to, rules and things. And I was just, I'll let people do whatever the hell they want to. This is just, we were supposed to be experimenting, and that's what we're doing. But it kind of crashed and burned because of that, I think. I mean, it went off and did it without us. So.
Yeah.
All right, there's another question from Alex Plexen. Alex says, what are the next industry events you'll be attending? Are you going to PCMA?
I would love to go to PCMA. I'm still trying to make it happen. That is an event that I think would be my top event if I've been, just based on what I've heard. I've heard such great things about it. So I'm trying to make it there. Otherwise, I still need to get my 2016 plans in order.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, next year. But I do know that PCMA in Vancouver is top of mind. I had a really good time at WEC 2 years ago when I went, so I would like to try to make that happen this year. And there's always, a million events. And then there's always the question of what you're speaking at versus what you get to attend for fun. So we'll have to see what that is.
Yeah, I love ECMA too. It's my favorite one also.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I don't know if I'm going to go. I was just talking to Jordan Schwartz of Pathable about that, like where to stay and stuff, because I went to the one in Chicago last year and had a great time. Though it was freezing, freaking cold. But,
yeah.
But I had I had all these meetings and stuff there. Plus I did podcast interviews. It was really, really fun, but such a great event.
I've heard so many great things about it. So I'm excited to check it out.
It's similar that everybody's there to the IMEX one. And
it's not that far from New York.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah. It isn't?
I don't think it's that far.
It's pretty far.
Is it?
Here, it's on this side.
I'm bad at geography. That's something you should know. Wait, I thought it was in Toronto.
No, it's in Vancouver.
Oh.
I
don't know. Something else is in Toronto that I thought I was going to go to next year.
All right. So thank you again, Liz. I was looking through the little blabby thing here to see if there are any other questions. And Alex says Vancouver is on the other side of the continent.
I think so.
All right, Liz, thanks so much. I really appreciate you talking with me, and I hope to have you back on again and again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, it's always great to talk to Liz King and check out her blogs, go to her conferences, and go see her speak. She's fantastic. Thank you to our sponsors, IMEX America, IMEX Frankfurt, and of course AV for Planners. If you're interested in learning more, head on over to the avforplanners.com/AV Power Pack to sign up for a consultation, or just head over there and get free tips and tricks for site surveys and what to look out for. Also check out the clause in there, which I said earlier. I think that if you want to add something to your hotel contract to give you more control over what you're being charged for audiovisual, it's a pretty handy thing. And if you have any questions or comments, email me at mike@grashakroad.com, or of course the Meetings Podcast email, which is meetingspodcast@gmail.com. Love to, if you have any ideas for people to interview, I'd love to hear that. Love to hear from the audience. And lastly, if you have a moment, head over to iTunes and give the show a rating. I know it take about 4 minutes to do, and it really helps the podcast get found by other event professionals. And thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
We appreciate and thank you for listening to the Meetings Podcast. Please email with any questions or comments to meetingspodcast@gmail.com. Meetings Podcast is sponsored by IMEX America, America's worldwide exhibition for incentive travel, meetings, and events. The Meetings Podcast theme music is brought to you by the Delgado Brothers, which can be found at delgadobrothers.com.